Well, today at the cottage, we are going to review your comments about the new garden bed. You had a number of different questions. We're going to answer those. I'm going to talk about, well, just a few more things that we're going to be adding, believe it or not, for some more layering. Well, what do you say? Let's do it. Well, I want the garden to continue to explode with more flower heads, more blooms. You can see here, these mums are getting ready to really flesh out. And then one of the mums that I bought at Bricks is going to go in here. I'm gonna tuck it in here. No, that is another white one. So, and I will keep those in the garden beds year round. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions that I want your opinion on. And then I am going to answer some questions you have. So here we are. And I am happy to report that with the exception of the sunshine ligustrum, the other plants that were starting to droop a little bit, the new ones, primarily the white wedding hydrangeas, yeah, they've really perked up. So yeah, they've gotten some additional water. Okay, so let's answer some of your questions, and where I can find them, I will put the question, a snapshot of the question up on the screen. And Tina VG says, simply beautiful, Linda, you're an artist both in gardening and decorating. Will you be adding tulips to your new garden bed? Well, thank you for the compliment. And the answer is no, I'm not going to be adding tulips to this garden bed. I am going to be adding some white daffodils, specifically Thalia, that's Thalia, I believe. They're a pure white daffodil. And it's another reason that I wanted to plant densely so that when all of this stuff begins to fill out and mature, any of the foliage from the daffodils, the narcissus, will be obscured by the plant itself. So they will bloom when they're getting enough light, and then in the spring, and then as these continue to fill out, that foliage will die back. The other reason I wanted to do it was because this is more of an awkward place to plant. I want it to have a little bit of a different feel. It's more away from the cottage itself, and because of that, I want it to have, just maybe a more natural feel. So hopefully those daffodils will get started and they'll begin to naturalize all through both sides of the new garden bed. And Mr. Joanna 2220 has a tour question. Will you be home during your garden tour, or will others be running it? I will be home, but there will also be lots of people who are running it. So if you're coming from out of town, I hope to meet you. And yes, I will try to be here to greet my guests. And Diana KO5BO says, sorry, Linda, it's too much. And I respect that, but we all have different kinds of gardening styles, and this very much is my style. And as I said, yours is probably beautiful too, but you do you and I'll do me. And that's what makes gardening fun. There's no one form of beauty. And I could not find a screenshot of the question itself, but someone asked, Linda, will I ever plant in these areas, the remaining grass? And maybe just a little bit around the edges, but no, just like the front where I kept the berms grassy as kind of a foil and a canvas for the other things to shine against. I want to do that same thing here. Now remember that over time, this will get larger. And someone also asked about this kind of gravel, why I had this kind of gravel here. This was not an aesthetic choice, this was a practical choice. There was already some up here because you can see the drain there, you can see the drainage pipe right here, and regular gravel probably would have just washed away. So this is here because of its heft, and I'll probably add some of the pea gravel to fall into the crevices of this gravel, but that's a practicality thing. Eventually this will get big and consume most of this space. So that doesn't really bother me too much. Now, one thing I am going to do, because what was bothering me, I think I told you before, was this metal edging right here and how it looked to me like it just stopped. So today, when I was coming out and kind of checking on things, I noticed that this area right here is wet and damp, so that tells me that the sprinkler system can get to this area. And if so, then I think I'm going to plant another one of these Radiance Abelias right here, and then that will really fill up and out this entire section to cover this metal edging, which I don't like. And it'll make the transition a little bit softer, and it will kind of mimic this curve right here. So that is one thing that I'm doing here. And when we come back, I'll show you another addition that I think is going to be kind of fun for layering. Now here's my question of the day for you. I completely have not decided. I did make the decision that I want another one of this Radiance Abelia right here, because I think it will help soften this space and not look just so truncated. There you can see the before of what it will look like. And then here's the after. Now, over time, will these both grow? And as I said in the last video, kind of spill out over this edge? Yes, they will. But since I am an impatient kind of gal, I think it might be pretty to have this one here to soften the edge. We'll just put it into this turf with kind of a tree well around it. So then here's my question of the day for you. I want you to weigh in here in the comments below. I have 2 more of these that I did not use because these turned out to be such a good size. So do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? And that is take those 2 extra ones and plant one on this side and then the other one on the other side. Stuart, what's your thought?
I mean, I think it would look nice.
And then this will get up and grow. So stand, if you would, stand from that end and just kind of walk this way and see if it would make visual sense to have it here. It's not going to really impede the path, and it might kind of soften this one stretch. So that's what I'm thinking about. Do I plant one here and there to flank this holly, to extend the look there, or do I not? Does it stay or does it go? So that's kind of a decision. The other thing is there is no irrigation here, but this seems to be doing fine without irrigation because it gets, whenever it does rain, this area gets pretty wet, and easily my hose will reach here. So that's kind of another consideration. So if you were me, what would you do? And do you think it would look harmonious with the rest? And in fact, does it look not harmonious without it, because it just looks like this barren space in between the beds? So that's my question of the day for you. I've got one more final thought of something that I'm going to layer in this bed, which should be beautiful next fall, and we'll talk about that when I come back. Now you may be wondering, am I going to add any other perennials in here? Well, this is going to be a very, very easy maintenance bed because most of the color is going to come from blooming shrubs. But I do want to layer in not only the daffodils in the spring, but I want something for the fall that will bloom, and as evidenced by my color palette, probably bloom in white. So I saw these in the White Flower Farm catalog. Thank you, Elliot. Big nod to my now friend Elliot up at White Flower Farm. Love Elliot, and I love White Flower Farm. I bought, I think, 6 of these honorine Jobert anemones. That's hard to say. Anemones. And these will grow in green tufts, and then they will hover up and above. So I think it could be really beautiful. And again, they will bloom in white, and they will bloom in probably the latter part of August to the first part of October. They also make beautiful cut flowers. This one's got a bud on it already. So I think I'm going to plant them very sparingly on this facade. I've got one here and one here, and they can handle part sun to part shade. So actually in a couple of hours, this will be in the shade. And they will also kind of spill out over the edge. and I can control the encroachment of both the encore azalea and the white wedding hydrangea on the anemones just by some judicial pruning. So I've got 2 here.
Sorry.
And then on this facade, I think they will be stunning right here with the Irish mint euonymus in the background and these in the foreground. I think they'll be beautiful. And again, these will begin to form clumps and spread, and even the clumps will kind of overhang over the brick wall. So I've got 2 here, and I've got 2 here. And I'm gonna be curious to see, and boy, look at how healthy these plants are. Just look at how healthy they are. Yeah, let's make sure that we give people, and we'll put a link to these in the description box below. But I have always wanted to grow these. I started them at my other house, but then I moved. So this is the first time I'm incorporating them here. But I think this will be absolutely beautiful, and it will be kind of a lesson learned to see which exposure they like better. This on the north side that will be far shadier, and or on the other side where they will get more morning sun and a little bit more intense heat. So that's going to be a fun thing to observe and mark down in my garden calendar. So when we come back, I'll have some final thoughts. Well, as you can see, I have been doing tons of deadheading, weeding, just trying to get everything cleaned up for the garden tour, which, as I have said ad nauseum, is October 4th, starting at about 10 o'clock. You might want to get here early. And yes, you can buy tickets here at the site, on site. And if you are coming from out of town, then there's lots to do in this area. Some of you have asked me for specifics, but as I've talked about many times, there's lots to do. Go to my website. And Stuart, what category is it under? It's under like shopping or places to see. On my website. There's a lot of different locations. Yeah, my favorite restaurants and things like that. So if you're coming from out of town, and I hope you are, then that information will be there. Lastly, and most importantly, if this week we are a little bit off schedule in our shooting, if things just don't go as they normally do, well, it's because I've got a grandbaby coming this week. And right now, that is taking priority over absolutely everything. So Danny is scheduled to arrive on Thursday. And well, I just can't wait. I just cannot wait. So, so I feel very fortunate that I have that to look forward to. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for your questions. If you like this kind of content, make sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the follow button, but most importantly, share with others who might be wondering, okay, what can I do in my fall garden right now?